Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with the WCW Worldwide Review Series for the 1994 editions, and this particular edition is the 1st of January 1994. Way to kick off the new year, I suppose. And in any event, it is a good time to be a WCW fan if you're still like the old school style of wrestling. Flying Brian against Denny Brown opens us up. Flying Brian, of course, a babyface, having turned near the end of the year of the previous year. Steve Austin turned on him after aligning with Colonel Robert Parker, and there are some shots there. Brian tries to go at Brown. Brown, known as an enhancement talent guy and decent worker journeyman throughout the years in the 80s and continues to get some work here. Arm ringers, arm bars, and the like by Pillman. Pillman doesn't exactly get everything he wants. Tie up by both men, and ultimately, Brian Pillman manages to hook up and get an arm bar and then a hammerlock. Pillman comes back to his feet. For some reason, Tony Schiavone talks about ankle injuries with Brian Pillman. I think it has to do with the fact that the injury to the ankle was something that Steve Austin, in turning on Pillman, had tried to perpetrate. But top rope dropkick proves that Pillman doesn't have too much of an issue in that general direction, at least not at this particular juncture of the contest. And then we see Pillman sends Brown into the corner and into the buckle. Big body slam by Brian Pillman. Pillman then goes back to the top rope for the second time in the contest and gets I guess you'd say a top rope splash for his trouble. Big splash, and Pillman again manages to go and get the victory there. Thunder and Lightning up next, talking about the best competition in being in WCW, promising to beat Tex Slasinger and Shanghai Pierce. Talking about having been overseas in Japan over the previous little while. Starcade review is here. They basically talk about what happened at Starcade, and of course, if you want that, we'll eventually get there in terms of covering that for this channel. Eventually going to have, who knows, tens of thousands of these audios available for your listening pleasure, but right now we're well into the second thousand, about just under 1,500 or so of these. Tex Slasinger, Shanghai Pierce up next against Thunder and Lightning. Really basic tag match, but if you need to learn tag psychology, if you're an independent worker learning how to get the most out of the least, Thunder and Lightning stay on the arm primarily of Shanghai Pierce over the first couple of minutes of the contest. Doesn't really get a great deal, but back elbows and some basic double team maneuvers. Thunder and Lightning stay on their adversaries pretty aggressively, assertively here. Deep arm drags and the like, and needless to say, Thunder and Lightning are trying to get an advantage for their team. Tag off to Tex Slasinger, who finally cuts the ring off by using some cheating and a shoulder breaker, and Tex and Shanghai take over for a little while here. They don't take over terribly long, but it's noticeable, let's put it that way, that they certainly have an advantage in power and underhanded tactics, and then double teaming and switching out as Shanghai Pierce manages to get a pinfall, but only because Tex Slasinger sneaks in and hits an inverted DDT, gets the cheating win. Then we see Brian Pillman out talking about Steve Austin, talking about Colonel Sanders, and comparing him to Colonel Parker. Also, Pillman says that the Hollywood Blondes are broken up for a little while. It does end up being permanent. Maybe they were thinking of putting them back together. Not sure what the deal was there. But Pillman says he's going to get his vengeance on Steve Austin and convince him to come back to teaming together. Mike DeCabro against the Shockmaster. Shockmaster into the corner with a big old clothesline, and Big Beal out of the corner as well. Shockmaster, failed gimmick from the fall of 1993, partially because the helmet fell off and partially because I don't think they had a long-term plan for the character from the beginning. Uncle Fred is what he becomes, but that doesn't happen until later in 1994. Big splash in the corner. Of course, formerly known as Tugboat Typhoon and the like in the WWF, and they were trying to get national attention at a deeper level than they had in the past, and the involvement with that particular group of folks was supposed to lead to that in any event. Fred manages to get an advantage here, and a bear hug into a kind of a splash maneuver is the victory getter for him there. Then we move into the next enhancement talent match, Lord Steven Regal against Scott Sandlin. Regal, of course, becomes William Regal, of course, now the figurehead for NXT. Sandlin, a relatively impactful journeyman guy, neck cravat and other basic moves by Regal. Regal gets the hookup. Of course, Sir William, a.k.a. Bill Dundee, on the outside. I believe Dundee might have had some involvement with the booking committee at the time. Double shots to the midsection of Sandlin by Regal. Regal also managing to get pulled down into a sunset flip, certainly using the more international style, as it were. Sandlin gets a hip toss and gets the man over, doesn't get all he wants on it, but gets enough. Thez press, awkward maneuver, but Regal manages to roll his man up, and Regal eventually hooks the double underhook butterfly style suplex, getting a victory in the process there. And, ultimately kind of hooks things up. Tex and Shanghai talk about how they don't care how they win, they care that they win. That's the basic idea behind their promo. Then you go to the main event, Cactus Jack and Max Payne versus Paul Orndorff and Paul Roma. The team of Pretty Wonderful is pretty in sync. They get about 11 minutes in this match here. Payne and Cactus had been teaming for a few months by this point, end up going into feuds with Nasty Boys as well. Roma turning against the Horsemen over the last couple of months, since around late summer, early fall. And Payne takes advantage over Roma with power early. Orndorff trying to stall the match as much as he can. A lot of walk and talk and gaga stuff there. Double team by Pretty Wonderful, double clotheslines included, and some takedowns, very basic stuff there. Hard shots, and ultimately Roma managing to get things going as best he can. Hard shots by Paul Orndorff. Orndorff manages to snap over Payne, and ultimately trying to get a hard shot. And then of course we see Orndorff managing to get a thing together there. Orndorff manages to hook things in line, and again, hard shots by Max Payne. Payne gets cut off, or the Payne gets cut off in the wrong corner by Orndorff and Roma. The match goes round and round for a little bit longer, with obviously Max Payne getting the advantage there. Bringing up the knee is Roma in the midsection. Then we see an attempted power slam, but cut off by Roma and Orndorff again. Roma and Orndorff using every heel tactic they possibly can. Match breaks down into a brawl. Backdrop over the top rope, causing the disqualification for the I guess you'd say, I don't know that they're champions yet, but for Orndorff and Roma. And Cactus Jack basically says they are going to get rid of this team, and eventually they're going to bury them. That will close us out for this particular edition. We've got over 1,400 other audios available for your listening pleasure, so hopefully something you enjoy. But until next time, keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Until next time, everybody.